All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. Israel, Lamar coming back at you another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua. And first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Ruach Kadash. I want to give double honor to the elders and apostles of the house of David, who's been ruling well through the spirit and power of the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua. Right? And I also give a mighty shalom to the elect, and also 12 tribes, brothers and sisters that scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom, shalom. Right? And we're going to leave off where we left off, right? When they say neither Jew nor Greek, right? It's the second installment. Because a lot of Christians, even brothers and sisters that's in the faith, right? They believe that the Gentiles in the New Testament are indeed talking about the other nations when it's not. Right? So we go bring out what we bring out last lesson, right? It's 1 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 2, right? Now we bring out Daniel chapter 9, which proves that, right, when the Israelites sinned, when they went off and went into idolatry, right, the Most High did not recognize them, right? They became different to him, right? And that's why in the text it say confusion of faces, right? And when you got a confusion of face, it means that you're not being recognized, right? So that's how not only does the Most High separate from us, right, we also become Gentiles as well, right? So if you want to go, know about that, that's in the last video, Neither Jew nor Greek, volume 1, this volume 2. So let's read it. This 1 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 2, it say, know ye that ye were Gentiles, carried away into these dumb idols as ye were led. Right, so we were carried away to these dumb idols, right? Serving Balaam, right? Serving the gods of the other nations, right? We were serving Caesar Augustus, right? They even put him up as a god, and that's what a lot of Israelites were doing, right? They said we have no king but Caesar, right? So a lot of Israelites were in super heavy in idolatry. All right, and what was the time period that Israelites was definitely going off into idolatry? It was the time of the Greeks, right? Which is we're going to read about in this lesson. But first and foremost, let's read this again. And I'm going to read it 3 times because you got to nail it into Israel's head. Right, this 1 Corinthians 12 and 2, it say, ye know that ye were Gentiles. Right, so why would it say ye know that ye were Gentiles? Right, because the Israelites were serving other gods, man. Right, they were serving other gods, and like I said, we're going to prove that. Right, say you know that you were Gentiles, carried away into these dumb idols, even as ye were led. Right, so first I want to get I want to get the I believe it is it I believe it is letter to Jeremiah. Now they were under King Nebuchadnezzar, right, the king of the Babylonians at this time. See what I want to start. It's what I want. Might be put prayer of Azariah, Salakia. Might be prayer of Azariah. Salaki. Let me get a better translation, because you know that old English can be confusing. Let's go back to the letter of Jeremiah. All right, this is letter to Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 4. We read this a little bit. They say, now shall ye see in Babylon God of silvers and of gold and of wood, borne upon shoulders, which caused the nations to fear. Beware therefore that ye in no wise be like to strangers, neither be ye and of them when ye see the multitude before them, and behind them worshiping them. But say yea in your hearts, right, which is your mind, O Yahweh, we must worship thee. For my angel is with you, and I myself caring for your souls. Right? So the Lord is saying when you get to Babylon, man, right, you in Babylon under Nebuchadnezzar, they're gonna have a lot of gods of silver, gold, right? Anything, right? It's gonna be people worshiping them, right? Don't be like the strangers, right? And I believe that's in let's get Exodus 20. All right, let's see what I want. Right, here we go. Exodus 20 and 23. It say, ye shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall ye make unto you gods of gold. Right? So the Most High did not want us making these different gods. He also did not want us worshiping any other god, right? When you go up to verse 3, it say, thou shalt have no more God, Salakia, thou shalt have no other gods, right? Or powers before me. Right? So it's heavy duty, man, right? Idolatry, which is spiritual fornication, was frowned upon. It's a sin punishable with death, right? When you read Deuteronomy the 12th chapter, Deuteronomy the 13th chapter, right? We destroy idols of the nations, man, right? The Most High did not want us even mentioning it. He didn't want us even praying to their gods, right? And that's what Israel did, right? When we read Jeremiah the 3rd chapter, right? When you read the book of 1st and 2nd Kings, right? Israel kept going into idolatry, right? You read the book of Judges, right? They kept going in and out of captivity, right? Because they kept serving the gods of the other nations, right? And by this made us strangers, right? And according to Isaiah chapter 59 verse 2, right, it say our sins separate us from Yahweh, right? Let's see, it's a little bit see. All right, so this is just going into the gods, other nations' gods, and how they don't mean a damn thing. All right, so let's get right into it, man. All right, neither Jew nor Greek. All right, let's go to the book of Galatians, chapter 3, and we're going to start at verse 22. All right, Galatians 3 and 22. All right, we start at verse 21. It say, is the law then against the promises of Yahweh? Yahweh forbid. For if... Did I want to start at 21? All right, we start at 21. Is it then the law is against Yahweh promises? God, Yahweh forbid. For if there have been a law given, which could have given life, verily righteousness should have been by the law. Right, and this is talking about the law of sacrifice, man. But the scripture have concluded all under sin, that the promise by faith of Yahushua Mashiach, right, might be given to them that believe. Right. Verse 23 is the key point. But before faith came, we were under the law, right? Who was under the law? The Israelites, right? Psalms 148, 19 and 20, Romans the 9th chapter, Psalm 78 and 5, Deuteronomy the 33rd chapter, right? Sirach the 19th chapter, right? The Israelites were under the law, right? Galatians chapter 4 verse 4 explains that. No other nation were given the law but the Israelites, man. Right? It say, but before faith came, we were kept under the law, shut up unto the faith which should afterwards be revealed. Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster to bring us into Hamashiach, that we might be justified by faith. But after that faith has come, we are no longer under a schoolmaster, right? Meaning we are not going to be solely justified by the law, right? You got to have faith, and you got to have faith in the Lord as well, right? So the law alone, solely by your works, you're not going to be just saved by that. You got to be saved by your faith, and your works, right? But you have to also keep the law, because faith without works is dead, man. Right? So this is not saying we don't have to keep the law. It just means we won't be solely justified by the keeping of the law. Right? And they say, but after faith is come, we're no longer under a schoolmaster. For ye are all the children of Yahweh by faith in Hamashiach Yahushua. Why? Because you had a lot of Israelites that was scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Isaiah 11 and 11. Deuteronomy 4 and 27. Deuteronomy 28 and 64. James 1 and 1. 2 Peter 1 and 1. These are the strangers, man. These are the strangers that's in the Old Testament, and these are the Gentiles that's in the New Testament. These are the ones that were scattered, right? The diaspora, right? That's in the Greek word, right? That was scattered out the four corners of the earth, right? So Hamashiach Yahushua is bringing all the 12 tribes back together. He's going to gather the nation back together, man, right? And we do that. We'll do what? Faith, right? Faith in Hamashiach. For as many of you have been baptized into Hamashiach, the anointed, have put on Hamashiach. Neither there is neither Jew nor Greek, right? There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Hamashiach Yahushua. All right, and then we use this to say, well, there's neither Jew nor Greek. Since when everybody was a Greek? All right? Since when everybody on this earth was a Greek? Right? So I don't understand how Christians will use this, because it makes no sense. Oh, there's neither Jew nor Greek, neither bond nor free, neither male nor female, for you are all one in Hamashiach Yahushua. We're going to explain who the Greeks are. Why do it say neither Jew nor Greek? Because you had Hellenized Jews, right? The Hellenization of the Jews. Since when everybody on the earth was a Jew? Right? All 12 tribes weren't Jews. The only Jews were Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, which is the southern kingdom. So since when everybody was a Jew? Right? Y'all love to use Romans 2 and 28. Right? Since when everybody was a Jew? Because all 12 tribes, all Jews are Israelites, but not all Israelites are Jews. Right? And this is how you know they don't read the Bible. And a lot of Israelites don't understand this because they don't read the Old Testament, the so-called Old Testament, right? With the Apocrypha. If you read the Apocrypha, you understand who the Gentiles are in the New Testament, man. Right? And it said, if ye be of Hamashiachs, then ye are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise, right? And let's get Galatians 3 and 29, right? Just because you are the seed of Abraham don't mean you are the child of God, man, right? Because everybody don't come out of Abraham. Ham didn't come out of Abraham, right? Japheth didn't come out of Abraham, right? So you just because you are Abraham's seed, you're not the chosen, man. That don't mean nothing, right? This is Romans 9 and 7. They say, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called, right? So just because you from Abraham don't mean you are the chosen lineage. You have to come out of Isaac, and you got to come out of Jacob. So it goes Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? It goes Shem, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Every nation don't come out of Shem. Every nation don't come out of Abraham, right? So Galatians 3 and 29 cuts up Galatians 3 and 28, right? Verse 8, it say, that is, that which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of Yahweh, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If you're not Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you are not of the chosen bloodline, man. What don't y'all understand? Right? Now let's get First Maccabees. Let's prove who are the Greeks, the Hellenized Greeks, right? Well, the Hellenized Jews, right? First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 41, right? And this is why reading the Apocrypha is very, very important, right? It's, First Maccabees 1 and 41. It say, moreover, King Antiochus, right? King Antiochus, right? IV, right? He came out of the Seleucid Empire, right? And he ruled over the kingdom of the Greeks, right? And he committed the first abomination of desolation, right? And then the second abomination of desolation were under the Romans, right? All the so-called white men. All right, and it say, moreover, King Antiochus wrote into his whole kingdom, all that shall be one people, right? All that should be one people. Ain't we going through that now? Everybody the same. Everybody, God loves everybody. Everybody one people, right? So King Antiochus wanted everybody to be Greeks. He wanted everybody to follow the customs of the Greeks, right? Mainly of the Israelites. Right? So he went into Jerusalem and trodden Jerusalem down, man. Destroyed the temple, defiled the temple, and he made a lot of the Israelites conform to his customs. Right? And we're about to read that. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king, right? All the heathen that was round about. Salakia. And they say, yeah, many of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificing to idols. That's idolatry, right? It say, ye were once Gentiles carried away to these dumb idols. It say, yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto devils and profaned the Sabbath, right? And it say, for the king has sent letters by messengers into Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land. And right, eating pork, right, sexualize everything. They used to have gym. They used to set up gyms, right, in Jerusalem, right, where they used to work out naked. That's in America. You got women working out naked. You got men working out naked. That's in America, man. Right? America is the extension of the Greek and Roman Empire. And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, right? They couldn't keep the temple laws. They couldn't go to the temple and sacrifice, right? A righteous sacrifice to the Lord. They could put to death for that. So a lot of Israelites had to conform and forsake the way of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, and they had to keep the customs of the Greeks. They got Hellenized, right? You had a lot of Greek-speaking Jews. They didn't know how to speak Hebrew, right? And we go get that. I believe that's it might be in Ephesians. I'm gonna get that. Lord willing, I'm gonna get that. In the temple, that they shall profane the Sabbaths and festival days. They didn't keep the Sabbath, right? And then the Israelites that tried to keep the Sabbath, that tried to keep the commandments and the laws and the statutes, they got put to death. They had to go hide. They had to go find a place of refuge to keep the law, statute, and commandments, right? They say, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people. Set up altars and groves, and they do that now in these churches, man, to set up idols within the temple, right? King Antiochus, right? Antiochus Epiphanes completely defiled the temple. He committed the first abomination and desolation. And chapels of idols and sacrificed what? Swine's flesh and unclean beasts, right? Which is forbidding. You can't sacrifice a unclean animal upon the altar, man. Right? 48, it say, and they shall also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, man. Right? Didn't keep the laws that would say you gotta wash yourself down. They probably was doing some freaky shit, all type of stuff, man. And the Greeks was freaky as hell. They say, to the end that they might forget the law and changed all the ordinances. And this is where they came Gentiles, man. Right? They forsook the law, man. This is why you have black men that's not circumcised. It's a custom right? That's even for that's for all the children of Abraham, right? That they had to be circumcised, right? Esau had to be circumcised. Ishmael, Elam, right? Moab, they all had to be circumcised, right? Because Moab come from Lot, right? Verse 50 say, and whosoever will not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he shall die, right? So a lot of Israelites consented. They didn't want to. A lot of Israelites didn't want to die, and there also was a lot of Israelites that died for the covenant of Yahweh Shemiyah, right? In same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom and appointed overseers. What do that sound like? He appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city, right? Sacrificing to idols. Then many of the people were gathered into them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law, and they committed evils in the land. And drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for safety, for aid, right? Because they couldn't keep the law, statute, and commandments. If they found out they was doing it, they got put to death by Antiochus Epiphanes and his overseers. They completely destroyed the city of Judah, right? They completely destroyed the city of Judah. Right. And they say, now the 15th day of the month of Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and built idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side, right? It's the first abomination of desolation, right? And burnt incense at the doors of their houses and the streets, right? And when they had rent in pieces the book of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire. They even burnt the books of the law, man. Right? They burnt the law and the prophets. Right? It said right here, and whosoever was found with any of the book of the testament, right, which is the prophets, right, the Tanakh, and if any committed to the law, right, which is the Torah, the king's commandments was that they should be put to death, right? And it's that simple. The Israelites had to forsake the law, had to live like the Greeks. They became Greeks by keeping their customs. If they didn't, they would die. Thus did they, by their authority, into the Israelites every month, as many as were found in the cities. Now, the 5th and 20th day of the month, they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of Yahweh. They did this upon its altar in the temple. This madness, in which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that have caused their children to be circumcised. If you was a woman and you were circumcising your baby, your son, and they found out about it, you would be put to death. And they used to hang our infants by their damn neck. This is the so-called white man. They say, and they hang the infants about their necks and rifled their houses and slew them that had circumcised them. So they had killed the boy and the parents that got them circumcised. Right? But y'all want to save these damn devils, man. They want to find a way to get them in. And they're not going to make it, man. They're not going to be able to inherit the kingdom of Yahweh Shemiyah Shah. Right? They're going to be servants. They're going to be slaves. They're going to be in servitude. They're going to be in hell, man. And howbeit many of Israel were fully resolved and confirmed themselves not to eat any unclean thing. A lot of Israelites died not to eat pork, right? Not to profane the Sabbath, not to profane the covenant. And a lot of you niggas, man, y'all fight to eat pork. Y'all can't give up the pork, right? When our forefathers died for the right to not to eat that bullshit, man, right? And it said, wherefore, rather to die that they might not be defiled with meats, that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died. So a lot of Israelites died, but it's also a lot of Israelites that confirmed to the ways of the heathen. And there was a great wrath upon Israel, right? So it's that simple, man, right? This how the Jews became Hellenized. They were destroyed, man. They were conquered by Antiochus Epiphanes. And a lot of you Israelites, when you look into Antiochus Epiphanes, right? One of the most wicked Edomites that ever lived, man. Right? And I advise you, brothers and sisters, to read 1st and 2nd Maccabees. A lot of heavy meat on that. And it will get you to understand who the Gentiles actually are, who the Greeks that's mentioned in the New Testament, who they are, man. Right? Well, Lord willing, not come with another lesson, man, on neither Jew nor Greek, but this is a heavy meat episode, man. Or lesson, man, Salaki. You know, damn episode. Right? This got me in the spirit, man, because this will happen to our people, man. We ain't just become Greeks out of nowhere, man. The Israelites were destroyed. And cities were taken over by the heathen. Yeah, and y'all want to save them, man. Want to forgive them. Our people so quick to forgive, man. But you won't forgive your brother, man. You so quick to forgive the heathen, but you so quick to forgive the heathen, but you don't want to forgive your brother, man. It's madness. Right? Well, Lord willing, we come with a part 3. Right? I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rikakadash, Shalom.